Hi there. Are you struggling with choosing a career? Are you struggling with deciding which subjects to choose? Or are you struggling with deciding where to study and what are the requirements? Well, you've come to the right page. I am Gabego Mokadime and I'm going to talk everything career related. Today I'm going to talk about the 5 steps of choosing a career. So step 1 is self-assessments. Step 2 is you identify and you research options. Step 3, you evaluate and you prioritize. Step 4, you take action and you try options. And step 5, you reflect and you reevaluate. Let's start with step 1, which is self-assessment. I think this is probably the most important step because you need to choose a career that is aligned with who you are as a person. So firstly, jot down the things that you are interested in. Think about what are the activities that you gravitate towards. What are the issues or the causes that are important to you as a person? For me, career guidance is an important cause as a person. And then think about what was the time when you were most happiest in your life? What were you doing during that time? And what classes have been your favorites at school? And what appeals to you about those classes? And lastly, who do you admire? And why is it that you admire? So hopefully, when you take those questions into account, it will help you to answer what are your interests, and you can back it up and say, why is it that you're interested in whatever it is, whether it's a cause or the activities or the person that you admire, why is it that you admire them? As part of self-assessments, you also need to take into account your personality, your unique characteristics. They influence your behaviors, your thoughts, and how you see the world, right? So you need to take that into account because your personality would also influence how you enjoy a specific type of job. One job is not perfect for every type of personalities. And then lastly, take into account your values. You want to make sure that if you're going into a job, it doesn't conflict with your values. Otherwise, you would not enjoy the job as well. So jot down what are the things that you value, and maybe you can look at the relationships that you have and what things you have valued about those relationships to see, your values as you try and understand who you are and assess yourself as a person. So that takes us to the end of the first part, which is self-assessment. And I think it's probably the most important one because you need to understand who you are as a person and make sure that you choose a career that is relevant for the person that you are. Okay, so now we move on to step number 2, which is identify and research. Now that you understand who you are, you've done your own self-assessments, now it's time for you to identify jobs that are aligned with who you are as a person. There are a various number of jobs, thousands of jobs, thousands and thousands of jobs. So do your research. If you understand that you like to communicate, as an example, now do your research on the types of jobs that you can do that involve communication, and explore other jobs available in that. So do a lot of research in terms of identifying the types of jobs aligned to who you are, and then whether there is a market for that. Very important one as well. Where is their market? The employers, who is going to employ you, and the salary options as well for those jobs, so that then you are choosing a job that you like, and also a job that is in demand. Is evaluate and prioritize. Now that you've done a self-assessment and you've researched on some career options, now it's a good time for you to evaluate the career options that you've done research on, and then you prioritize based on what are the pros and cons of the various options. You might find that some of the jobs that you've done research on, after you've done the research, they're not appealing to you. So because of whatever cons related to that job, it's really good that you then assess at that point in time that maybe that career is not for you, and you look at the other options. And this is a circle, it's not a linear process. So if you do find that you've researched some career options and they're not for you, you can go back and also do some research on other career options. So this step of prioritizing and evaluating the options, career options, is really important in then narrowing it down and seeing which careers are most suitable to you. Okay, so you've done the first 3 steps, which were self-assessments and doing some research, and then you've done some prioritization. The 4th step is to take action and try options. So in the 4th step, normally in grade 11, you'd have job shadowing, which would give you an opportunity to actually go and try out that career option. In my experience, what you research on and actually when you physically do something, you might experience it very differently to what you expected. For example, when I was doing job shadowing in grade 11, I went and experienced being a pharmacist. I really loved chemistry. I was really good at it, and I thought this is what I want to do, is be a pharmacist. But when I actually spent a couple of days in a pharmacy, I was bored out of my mind, and I knew that if I was to pursue a career in chemistry, it would definitely not be a pharmacist in front of a dispensary. So that is, what reality and experiencing and trying out options really give you a perspective on what you really like and what you don't like, which is important. If you're going to spend about 8 hours of your life doing a job, you want to make sure that it's something that is also appealing to you as a person. So you take the action and you try out different jobs, and through that experience, whether it's job shadowing or internship, you get the knowledge to know whether you want to pursue that career further or not. And the last step is the reflect and reevaluate. Now that you've taken action and you've tried out various options, the last step is to then reflect on the options that you tried out. What was most appealing to you and what wasn't appealing? Maybe there were some elements around the job that you didn't like. That's fine, but did you mostly like it? Then you can pursue it further through then the studies in tertiary, etc. So this is an important step. Then you re-evaluate your options as well if you didn't like it. Okay, so I went and I tried out option 1, I didn't like it, let me go to option 2, and you can do that exercise again of trying out another option, and then you re-evaluate as the last step. Reflect on your options, and those are the 5 steps. Okay, so let's recap. On the 5 steps to choosing a career. Step 1, you do a self-assessment, understanding who you are as a person, your skills, your interests, and your values, etc. Step 2, you identify careers that are aligned to who you are, and you research more about those careers. Step 3, you evaluate those careers that you've researched on, and then you prioritize based on the pros and cons. Step 4, you take action and you try options. So taking action could be in the form of doing job shadowing and experiencing those careers. And then the last step, you reflect on the careers that you've actually taken action on, and then you re-evaluate whether you like it or not, did it appeal to you. And those are the 5 steps. I hope you found this useful.